So good morning, it is feeding time for the elephants. These guys are being fed plant foods. There's a big pile of hay over there, I don't know if you can see it. They're also being fed things like carrots and so on. The keepers are sort of throwing carrots over the fence, and these elephants are picking them up. Now, elephants have a digestive system which is very inefficient. Okay, so between 60 and 80% of the food they eat, they're just gonna poop out. That's why if you have to volunteer for a day in the zoo, you do not want to be in the elephant house. You may love elephants, but you're just going to be shoveling shit for like the whole day. Okay, let's be honest about it. They have a very, very, very inefficient feeding system. Why is that? Because they're eating these plant foods which are kind of toxic. Now, in order to deal with those toxins, they have different mechanisms and so on. They have a stomach. What they do not have that some of the animals, other animals here do have, is a rumen. They don't have a rumen is a place before the sort of stomach where these animals ferment the foods. What they have is a hindgut. So just like something like a gorilla, they will have a cecum. Now we also have a cecum, but it is shrunk in size. So cecum, let me just explain. When these animals eat, the food goes in the stomach, and then slowly it is passed to the large intestine. And the first part of the large intestine is called the cecum. The cecum is where these foods ferment. And through the process of fermentation, they're no longer fiber. So no animal really digests fiber. What they do is they ferment fiber so that fiber becomes two things. It becomes fatty acids mostly, and then the bacteria which are doing the fermenting, they provide the protein. So these animals look like herbivores, and we call them herbivores, and technically they are herbivores in a way, but what they are eating is the small bacteria, and they're also eating the fatty acids that are produced by the small bacteria in their cecum. Now humans, as I say, we no longer have a cecum. We evolved to reduce that as we started eating more and more animal foods. And now our cecum is a vestigial organ called the appendix. And many of you will have had your appendix out in childhood. There's a disease that many people get called appendicitis. And you cannot tell by looking at someone whether or not they have an appendix, right? So it's not a very crucial organ, it's not a vital organ. We are not animals that ferment our food. We're not meant to eat like the elephant eats. We're not meant to be so inefficient with our digestion. So I actually wrote a blog recently about how different kinds of animal oils, different kinds of seed oils versus ghee and so on, what the effect of that is in big studies in India and so on. So in India, of course, a lot of people do eat like the elephant, and we're finding that India is a place where diabetes is out of control, where all these cancer rates are out of control, where all these diseases of civilization are just completely out of control, in part because people are eating more and more like an elephant and less like a lion. So if you're interested in learning more about how vegetarian diets can be harmful, give me a call. The link to book a call is down below, or check out that blog on my website, sameerdossani.net.